Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Last class we discussed about speed control of DC motors by using some analog sensors in the form of tacho generator and by using digital sensors for measurement of speed in the form of encoders. Today we'll see the AC motors. AC motors are classified into two groups, single phase and multi-phase or polyphase motors. These single phase and multi-phase can further be subdivided into induction motors and synchronous motors. Now, single phase motors tend to be used for low power requirements, whereas polyphase, normally three phase motors are used for higher power requirements. Remember, we are discussing actuators unit. Okay. In the mechatronic systems, the sensors, transducers do the signal sensing work. The controllers process that sense signal and they generate appropriate actuating signal. Now, this actuating signal is either given to some mechanical device or some electrical device or some hydraulic or pneumatic device so that the required task can be completed. So in this actuators, we are discussing about AC motors as actuators. Now, induction motors are cheaper than synchronous motors and these are widely used. And that's why you'll find induction motors even in domestic pumps. We see induction motors in agricultural applications. We'll see three-phase induction motors, so to say. The single-phase squirrel cage induction motor consists of a squirrel cage rotor. Now, squirrel cage rotor, as you can see in the sketch, squirrel cage, we'll discuss it later. Squirrel cage, as the name indicates, squirrel म्हणजे काय? खरुताई. त्याला पकडायचा पिंजरा म्हणजे squirrel cage. So the strips, those you see, those resemble to the cage, and that's why the name squirrel cage induction motor. It consists of a squirrel cage rotor, this being copper or aluminum bars that fit into slots in end rings to form a complete electrical circuit. So we have a squirrel cage, cylindrical squirrel cage, and end plates will be having. There are no external electrical connections to the rotor. The basic motor consists of this rotor and a stator having a set of windings. So we have stator windings around a stator, and rotor has the short-circuited conductors on it. When an alternating current passes through a stator, through the stator windings, an alternating magnetic field is produced. As a result of electromagnetic induction, EMFs are induced in the conductors of the rotor and currents flow in the rotor. The induction motor is not self-starting. An auxiliary starting winding is used to give the rotor an initial push. The rotor rotates at a speed determined by the frequency of the alternating current applied to the stator. This is the sketch. Just be attentive. You have this rotor represented by a magnet, and we have a stator which is provided with alternating power supply. As you can see, the stator is an electromagnet. So after giving a supply, electromagnets, as the name indicates, there are permanent magnets which are made up of ferromagnetic materials. They have those inherent properties, so they don't require any external supply for showing the magnetic field. But electromagnets require electrical supply, isn't it? So this is an electromagnet, the stator, and once the supply is given, you have north pole and south pole poles generated on the stator winding. And this magnetic field, magnetic lines of flux, will move across north and south pole. And we have a rotor which has south pole and north pole. Now, as the alternating current changes directions depending on the frequency, so 50 cycles per second, every cycle it changes its direction. So initially, as you can see here, the north pole is matching with south pole and south pole matching with north pole. Here, when the switching has taken place, it happens automatically. positive, as this terminal has become positive and this terminal has become negative. So we have the magnetic fields reversed, and then the motor starts rotating. Consider the rotor to be a permanent magnet. Okay, here he has considered a permanent magnet. Rotor, current flowing through the conductors energizes the magnets and develops north and south poles. The strength of electromagnet depends on the current. First half cycle current flows in one direction, and the second half cycle it flows in opposite direction, generating torque on the coil as AC voltage changes the poles alternately. This is what is the working principle of AC motor. Just now we discussed about induction motor. As we discussed, these are the end plates, end rings connecting the ends of all the conductors to give the circuits in which currents are induced. Okay. So we are not supplying any currents to this rotor. We have rotor conductors giving the squirrel cage. Right? It gives the look of a cage. Cage means pinjra type look. So that's why the name squirrel cage. End view. We have this rotor. These are the conductors. These are the conductors, right? And these are the end plates. Then we have the rotor. So having south and north pole. The speed of rotation of the magnetic field is termed as synchronous speed. The speed of rotation of the magnetic field. The stator is generating the magnetic field. The speed of rotation of the magnetic field is called as synchronous speed. The rotor will never quite match this frequency of rotation. Now, this frequency of rotation is dependent upon supply frequency. So, ideally, corresponding to the supply frequency, I should have the synchronous speed. So, at the same speed of the rotating magnetic field, the rotor should also ideally rotate. But practically, it doesn't happen. There is always some slip. So this rotor lags the rotating magnetic field. The rotor will never quite match this frequency of rotation, typically differing from it by about 1 to 3%. This difference is termed as slip. Slip. So it is lagging behind the rotating magnetic field by 1 to 3%. This can be single phase or three phase. So the induction motors can be single phase or three phase. Now, the synchronous motors. Synchronous motors have stators similar to induction motors. They have stators similar to induction motors. The stator having electromagnet, each having windings, whereas in induction motor or simple AC motor, there was a single pair of magnet. Whereas in synchronous motor, you'll see multiple pairs of magnets. A stator similar to induction motor, but a rotor which is a permanent magnet. The magnetic field produced by the stator rotates the magnet with it. With one pair of poles per phase of the supply, the magnetic field rotates through 360° in one cycle of the supply. And so the frequency of rotation with this arrangement is the same as the frequency of the supply. The synchronous motors are used when a precise speed control is required. They are not self-starting, and some auxiliary starting system is employed to start them. So this is what is the principle of synchronous motor. The synchronous speed of an AC motor is determined by the following formula. Synchronous speed Ns is equal to 120 into F by P. 120 into F by P, where Ns is synchronous speed in RPM, F is applied frequency, and P is number of poles. What are the advantages and limitations of this AC induction motor? Advantages: it has a simple design, low initial cost, rugged construction, almost unbreakable. So these AC induction motors are having rugged construction, and these are almost unbreakable. The operation is simple. The operation is simple with less maintenance, as there are no brushes. The efficiency of these motors is very high, as there are no frictional losses with reasonably good power factor. So, practically very less frictional losses Power factor, we'll discuss it later. The efficiency of this motor is very high. The control gear for the starting purpose of these motors is minimum, and the simple and reliable operation we can obtain through AC induction motors. Limitations of AC induction motors. The speed control of these motors is at the expense of their efficiency. The speed control is at the cost of efficiency. If we try to have precise speed control, some efficiency will be lost. As the load on the motor increases, the speed decreases. The starting torque is inferior when compared to DC motors. So starting torque of AC induction motors is less as compared to DC motors. As you see, remember, if you remember the characteristic curve, speed torque curves we had seen, the starting torque for DC motors was very high, and thereafter as the RPM increases, the torque was decreasing. But here the starting torque of AC induction motors is comparatively less. Then next we'll see stepper motors. The stepper motor is a device that produces rotation through equal angles, as the name indicates, stepper motor. So the changes in speeds are in steps. So I can have precise angular position changes. So AC motor and DC motors, we are able to control the speed. But if I want to have indexing of some maybe table or movement of some table, I want to have small angular displacements, I need to go in for stepper motors. So stepper motor is a device that produces rotation through equal angles, the so-called steps, for each digital pulse supplied to its input. Thus, for example, if with such a rotor, one pulse produces a rotation of 6 degrees. If one pulse produces a rotation of 6 degrees, then 60 pulses will produce a rotation of 360 degrees. So 60 degree angular position per pulse into 60 pulses. So 360 degree can be covered by using 60 pulses. Types of stepper motors, you have 3 types. Variable reluctance type stepper motor, then permanent magnet type stepper motor, and third one is hybrid stepper motor. Now, variable reluctance type stepper motor. Reluctance is related to magnetism. Okay. So if I have variable reluctance stepper motor, we'll see the constructional details. Pair of poles energized by current being switched to them, and the rotor rotates to next position. Okay, this is the rotor, and then we have the pair of poles, north and south poles. So in here we have got 3 pole pairs, and here we have 2 pole pairs. And when the rotor starts rotating, you can see the changes in the figure is not that clear. If I expand this, it will be visible. With this form, the rotor is made of soft steel and is cylindrical. Rotor is cylindrical with 4 poles, fewer poles than on the stator. The stator has got 6 poles, whereas rotor has got fewer, means lesser poles, 4 poles. When an opposite pair of windings has current switched to them, opposite pair of windings, so north and south pole of the windings, so opposite pair of the windings, this and this pole, or this and this pole, this and this pole, these are the opposite pairs. The magnetic field is produced with lines of force which pass from the stator poles to the nearest set of poles on the rotor. So magnetic lines of flux will start flowing across this north and south pole. And since the lines of force can be considered to be rather like elastic thread, and always trying to shorten themselves, the rotor will move until the rotor and stator poles line up. So to say, kaisa hota hai that magnetic field will try to move the rotor pole till what point? Now this magnetic, suppose it is like an elastic thread, just similar to elastic thread. So this magnetic field will try to pull this pole on the rotor till this pole aligns with this pole. Okay. So this is how I can get indexing of the rotor. Since lines of force can be considered to be like rather like elastic thread and always trying to shorten themselves, the rotor will move until the rotor and stator poles line up. This is termed the position of minimum reluctance. When these poles line up, the reluctance is minimum. What is the reluctance? Resistance to flow of magnetic field. Similar to what is resistance? Resistance to flow. Resistance is the resistance to the flow of electric current. So reluctance is the resistance to the flow of magnetomotive lines of flux. Okay. So they'll try to align. Now when I have got air gap in between, so there is more air gap when there is no pole. So the magnetic lines of flux will be more intense here. So high reluctance. So then you have this pole aligned here. This is termed as position of minimum reluctance. This form of stepper generally gives step angles of 7.5 degree or 15-degree angular position. So this is variable reluctance stepper motor. Second type is permanent magnet stepper motor. The motor has a stator with 4 poles. Each pole is wound with a field winding. The coils on opposite pairs of poles being in series. So see these two coils. The windings are in series with each other. Current is supplied from a DC source to the windings through switches. The rotor is permanent magnet. The rotor is a permanent magnet. The rotor is a permanent magnet, and thus when a pair of stator poles has a current switch to it, the rotor will move to line up with it to the 45-degree position. The rotor will try to align with itself at 45-degree angular position. So when this south pole comes in line with this north pole, then this north pole comes in line with this south pole, the angle made by the rotor will be 45 degrees. If the current is then switched so that the polarities are reversed, the rotor will move a further 45 degree in order to line up again. The current is reversed, it will further line up. Earlier it was this position, it will further line up by 45-degree position, it will be vertical now. So totally 45 plus 45, 90-degree position. Thus, by switching the currents through the coils, the rotor rotates in 45-degree steps. So each step will be of 45 degrees. With this type of rotor, step angles are commonly 1.8 degree, 7.5 degree, 15 degree, 30 degree, 34 degree, or 90 degree. So this is a permanent magnet stepper motor. This is what is the constructional detail. So permanent magnet two-phase stepper motor with 90-degree steps. TPCD show the positions of the magnet rotor as the coils are energized in different directions. Now we'll see the hybrid stepper motor. So combination of permanent magnet and variable reluctance. Both the features will be there. Hybrid stepper motors combine the features of both the variable reluctance and permanent magnet motors. Having a permanent magnet encased in iron caps, permanent magnet, so this is the permanent magnet encased in iron end caps, which are cut to have teeth. So these end caps have teeth on it. The rotor sets itself in the minimum reluctance position in response to an air of stator coils being energized. Typical step angles are 0.9 degree and 1.8 degree. See, now the resolution has improved now. Earlier it was 7 degree angular position, then it was 3.5 degree angular position for the second variety. And now in hybrid stepper motor, I have a step of 0.9 degree angular position or 1.8 degree angular position. Depending on my requirement, I can go in for either variable reluctance type stepper motor, permanent magnet type stepper motor, or hybrid stepper motor. If a motor has N phases on the stator and M teeth on the rotor, the total number of steps per revolution is the total number of steps per revolution is N into M. N is number of phases on the stator and M is number of teeth on the rotor. Total number of steps per revolution is N into M. Such stepper motors are extensively used in high accuracy positioning applications, that is in computer hard disk drives. Time permits, will study the hard disk drive mechanism as well. Okay, so there are required. See, when I give a command on a D drive, I have some folder, and on that folder, in that folder, I have got file X. In that file X, I have a particular matter that I want to read. So I give a command to the through the software, to the keyboard, to the operating system, and accordingly the hard disk drive will index the stepper motor on the hard disk drive, will index to that precision, and the head, optical head, will laser powered or laser head will just position itself in such a way that I can reach to the desired destination file. So the precision is very high, the accuracy, positional accuracy is also very high. So there are certain advantages and limitations of stepper motors. Advantages are, these are low cost, these are rugged, the construction is simple, these have low maintenance, these are less likely to stall or slip. So I get the exact positioning, right? These stepper motors will work in any environment. So environmental conditions won't have effect on these stepper motors. Excellent start, stop, and reversing responses. So for my positional accuracy, this is very important. Excellent immediate start and immediate stop and immediate reversal is possible in the stepper motor. So limitations, low torque capacity compared to DC motor. So this is a very big limitation. I can't move much higher load by using stepper motors. Limited speed, during overloading the synchronization will be broken. So if there is more load torque on the stepper motor, those will no longer be synchronized. There might be some slip. So there can be even vibrations and noise when these are running at higher speed. These are some of the limitations of stepper motors. Next variety is servo motors. Servo, the name indicates servo corresponds to position. Servo motors are positional motors. So here I am not expected to have continuous rotation. What I want to have angular positional changes. Maybe if we take the case of a rudder, in military applications, you have the rudder that is scanning the sky all the time. Okay, so when the enemy aircraft crosses your territory, this radar will sense those aircrafts. Okay, so there the indexing of that radar table has to be very precise. Maybe to the tune of certain minutes and certain seconds of angle. Okay, so degrees, minutes, and seconds. To that accuracy, I want the positional accuracy I want for having correct positioning of my rudder or rudder antenna, whatever you call it as. So there I make use of servo motors. Earlier also I gave you one example of turbine speed control system. There also I use servo mechanisms. Those are also positional control mechanisms. So electrical motors also are used as servo motors. Servo motors are special electromechanical devices that produce precise degrees of rotation. I have precise angular positions. So this is the feedback control system block diagram. I have the servo motor, the load or the speed I want to maintain, or the position I want to maintain. This is the set position, maybe 30-degree angular position, and this will give me the actual angular position. Maybe I'm going to use an encoder, optical encoder, which will give sense that angular position and feedback that signal to the error detector or comparator. So the set angle 30 degree, present angle 28 degrees. So plus 2 degree of error in angular position. So that signal will be, of course, this will be converted into equivalent electrical or electronic signal that will be amplified, and that will be given to the windings of the electrical servo motor. And accordingly, the servo motor will change its angular position till the error becomes 0. Okay, a servo motor is a DC or AC or brushless DC motor combined with a position sensing device. As I said, position sensing device can be either a tacho generator or can be an encoder, optical encoder. Servo motors are also called control motors as they are involved in controlling a mechanical system. The servo motors are used in a closed loop servo system. This is a closed loop servo system. If I don't have this loop, I call this as open loop system. So when I have got this feedback loop for sensing the signal, this is called as feedback servo system or closed loop servo system. Much details of these control systems in 5th and 6th unit will be studying. Working, a reference input is sent to the servo amplifier, which controls the speed of a servo motor. A feedback device is mounted on the machine, which is either an encoder or a resolver. This device changes mechanical motion into electrical signal and is used as a feedback. This feedback is sent to the error detector, which compares the actual operation with that of the reference input. Just now I told you the working. If there is an error, that error is fed directly to the amplifier, which will be used to make necessary corrections. In control action, in many servo systems, both velocity and position are monitored. Position as well as velocity are monitored. Servo motors provide accurate speed and torque, and have ability of direction control as well. So this is the benefit of servo motors. There are certain advantages and limitations of the servo motors as well. Advantages of servo motors: provides high intermittent torque, high torque to inertia ratio compared to its own inertia, its own weight and its own inertia. It generates more torque. Servo motors provide me more torque and high speeds. These work very well for velocity control as well. These are available in all sizes. These are quiet in operation, smoother rotation at low speeds. Limitations: these are a bit expensive than stepper motors. They require tuning of control loop parameters. These are not suitable for hazardous environments or in vacuum. Excessive current can result in partial demagnetization of DC type servo motors. So these are few of the limitations. Friends, we'll stop for today.